Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Everyone, Lucamus Prime here, so it's time for another movie review. This time it's for a new franchise, guys, so I'm done with Transformers movies, and now I'm going to be reviewing the first installment of the standalone movies of my favourite superhero of all time, and guys, that movie is, of course, none other than Superman, released in 1978, also called Superman the movie, directed by Richard Donner, what you want to call it, so I call it just Superman, because that is what it was called, yeah. But it's known nowadays as Superman the movie, and yeah. And I, of course, own it on DVD, guys. So, yeah, because, as a fun fact, guys, I own the standalone Superman movie starring Christopher Reeve and the one starring Brandon Ralph on Blu-ray in this collection of all the movies, and yeah. And in this collection, yeah. The first disc here at the back is the first movie itself, and this is the extended version, which is actually 3 hours long, guys, the TV release of it. The theatrical release was 2 hours and 23 minutes, according to the runtime when I watched it in preparation for review. So, yeah. And now it's time to review this movie. So, guys, I'm going to say without a single doubt that this is definitely one of my favourite superhero movies of all time. Absolutely, and yeah. It made Richard Donner one of my favourite superhero movie directors of all time, and one of my favourite overall directors of all time. And, of course, rest in peace, because he passed away earlier this year. So yeah, it's a really big shame that he passed away, yeah, because he was such a legendary director. So what is this movie about? So, released in 1978, guys, this is a story about Superman's origin story, and yeah, and it's depicted in live action on the big screen. So yeah, now, so it depicts the origin of Superman, including his infancy as Kal-El of Krypton, son of Jor-El, and his youthful years in the rural town of Smallville. Disguised as reporter Clark Kent, he adopts a mild-mannered disposition in Metropolis and develops a romance with Lois Lane whilst battling the villainous Lex Luthor. So that is like a summary movie, guys. So yeah, now, so the good qualities first is, I think that this movie has a phenomenal cast of actors. For example, the first one that I'd like to talk about is, of course, Christopher Reeve, because for those of you who do not know, he's actually my favourite superhero actor of all time, and my favourite DC actor. Well, for Marvel, it's, of course, Tobey Maguire, but for DC, it's Christopher Reeve, because he was the actor that I grew up with Superman when I was a kid, guys, so yeah. And I really loved his performance as Superman, very inspiring, and, he had such great charisma and energy in his performance. He really embodied the role of Superman, because, in my opinion, guys, I don't think any actor can play Superman better than Christopher Reeve in anything, movies, animation, video games, radio serials, whatever you want to say, there's media that Superman's in. I don't think anyone can play him better than Christopher Reeve, to be honest. And I really loved his performance in the movie, guys. It was really amazing, and yeah, really great. And I also, as well, really loved Marlon Brando's performance as Jor-El, Superman's father. He was really great in the role, and definitely my favourite role of Marlon Brando so far. I've not seen any other things he's in besides this movie and the Richard Donner called Superman 2. But yeah, he was phenomenal. Jor-El, my favourite Jor-El of all time, and yeah, my all-time favourite. He was so perfectly cast in the role, and in my opinion, guys, he does have a very great resemblance to Christopher Reeve when you compare their faces. It is pretty evident that they're similar when you look in the trial scene at the beginning of the movie. It was really good, and yeah, in my opinion, he was perfectly cast, and the scene where he interacts with Clark as a teenager in a Fortress of Solitude was a beautiful scene, in my opinion, yeah. I really loved it, and he had a very great narration scene talking about, about the universe and Earth, and then it shows Superman as an adult, yeah, played by Christopher Reeve. That was such a great scene. And another actor I'd also love to talk about, guys, is definitely Gene Hackman, who plays Lex Luthor, yeah. Gene Hackman is easily my favourite live-action Lex Luthor of all time, whereas my favourite voice is, of course, Clancy Brown from the DC Animated Universe and several other projects. So, yeah. But Gene Hackman is easily my favourite live-action Lex Luthor, because I grew up with his Lex Luthor as a kid. And, yeah. And he gave such a great villainous performance, in my opinion, as Lex Luthor. He really nailed the role, in my opinion. And he was just perfectly cast. Absolutely. As a fun fact, guys, he was persuaded by Richard Donner to play him as well. And as a fun fact, guys, he also took lots of strong persuasion for him to shave off his mustache as well, yeah, because he loved his mustache. But yeah, he was persuaded to shave it off for a role, and yeah. And also, guys, if you're wondering as well why Lex doesn't really appear to be bald much in the movie, it's because Gene Hackman did not like wearing bald caps. He found it uncomfortable, which is why he doesn't appear to be bald until the end of the movie when he takes off his wig, when he's been arrested. For most of the movie, he does wear, you know, a wig, so yeah. So he was given, like, lots of wig sets to wear, which implied Lex was bald, so yeah. And that worked really well, in my opinion, you know, that's how, you know, I could tell that he's wearing, you know, fake hair. So yeah, they did it really well. But yeah, Gene Hackman was perfectly cast in my opinion, yeah. And I do like him as an actor, mainly as well because of his support for Richard Donner, yeah. Because, as a fun fact, guys, he declined to return as Lex Luthor in Superman 2's reshoots and in Superman 3 when Richard Donner got fired and was played by Richard Lester. Other cast members I do love is, I also as well do love Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. She's easily my favourite live-action Lois Lane of all time. And she was so perfectly cast in the role. Like, she brought Lois to life so well. She really nailed the role, in my opinion. Like, she was so phenomenal everywhere. Perfectly cast in the role. And, of course, rest in peace, because she passed away, yeah. It's very sad that, you know, many cast members of this movie have died. You know, like, Marlon Brando died, and also so did Christopher Reeve, of course. And Ned Beatty also died as well, sadly. Margot Kidder, of course, died in early 2018 before she could turn 70. So, yeah, rest in peace. Speaking of Ned Beatty, guys, I did also love his performance in this movie as Otis, who is Lex Luthor's henchman, his right-hand man. He was really entertaining to watch and great to watch, absolutely. And very loyal to Lex Luthor, yeah. I also, as well, definitely love Jackie Cooper as Perry White as well, guys. The boss of the Daily Planet. He was also perfectly cast, in my opinion, in his role. It was very entertaining as well. And, yeah, definitely favourite one in live action, absolutely. And I also, as well, loved the castings of Clark Kent's adoptive parents, Jonathan and Martha. Glenn Ford played Jonathan Kent, and in my opinion, he was also perfectly cast in his role. And the scene where he dies from a heart attack was very heartbreaking, in my opinion. And I did also love Phyllis Baxter as Martha Kent as well, Clark's adoptive mother. She was also perfectly cast in the role. Yeah, I really loved her performance in the movie. Although Clark's adoptive parents don't have very much screen time, they are still great in the role, and yeah. And they had really great scenes, in my opinion, in Clark's development. Like, the highlight of the movie, in my opinion, guys, is that, you know, Clark has lots of development. Where he starts sort of being a kid, then he grows up to be a teenager. Then he becomes the adult Clark Kent we know and becomes Superman. And plus another good thing I will say is I did also like Jeff East as teenage Clark Kent. He was also a great casting in the role, but one thing that's, you know, pretty confusing is that they did not use his normal voice, guys, because he's actually dubbed by Christopher Reeve. So Christopher Reeve actually redubbed his lines. Apart from him saying woohoo when he jumps over a train, when he's running. So yeah, I kind of wish they used his normal voice, actually, to be honest. But I get that they use Christopher Reeve's voice because, you know, they're trying to imply it's the same character, which it basically is, so yeah. But I kind of wish they used, you know, Jeffy's natural voice, to be honest. And I also did love a cameo appearance, guys, by 3 Kryptonian villains who are among my favourite enemies of Superman, which is General Zod, Ursa, and Non, who are all played by Terrence Stamp, Sarah Douglas, and Jack O'Halloran. And those 3 were perfectly cast as well, and this trial scene they're in my opinion, guys, was way better than the reshot one in Superman 2's theatrical version, in my opinion, because I think it was way more powerful, and, you know, Marlon Brando's presence was also felt as well. Because obviously in Superman 2's reshoots, Marlon Brando declined to return to do reshoots. But I think General Zod yelling at him was also very powerful, in my opinion. Terrence Stamp had such great delivery of his lines, absolutely. But yeah. However, the reason why this isn't my favourite DC movie or my favourite Superman movie of all time is because I wish that Zod, Ursa, and Non had more screen time, because they only play him a trial scene, guys, and if you guys have watched the extended version, which is 3 hours long, they actually do have another scene where Clark Kent's pod, you know, Kal-El's pod, flies past them rather than the Phantom Zone when he's going to Earth. So yeah, but I wish he had more screen time, guys. But thankfully, I think the reason why they have such small roles is because Richard Donner was intending to save them for the sequel, which he certainly did because they are the main villains of the sequel. But yeah. And I'm talking about Richard Donner cut, guys, not the theatrical version, because the theatrical version, in my opinion, was way weaker than Richard Donner's vision that he had. Richard Donner cut was way more superior, but yeah, I'm glad he got a big role in that movie, but yeah, I wish we got more than this movie, like maybe a setup for Superman 2, maybe by showing him escaping or something, but yeah, oh well. They were still great in there, one scene, but if you want to talk about the theatrical version, but yeah. I also like Valerie Perrin's Eve Tessmacher as well. I did like the scene where she saves Superman when Lex Luthor puts him in a trap where he puts a kryptonite necklace around it and he throws him into a swimming pool. I'm glad that she had the guts to save him. I was happy about that because he promised to save her mother, which I was happy about. I think the scene where, you know, Lex doesn't appear to care when she tells him that her mother lives in the area where missiles going to hit, you know, is a sign that Lex was such a very menacing villain, very mean in my opinion. But yeah. And also, another good quality I will say, guys, is definitely the music, because it is composed by John Williams, my favourite composer of all time. And yeah, his music, in my opinion, was so powerful. It's probably my favourite superhero music of all time, guys, in my opinion. It's so powerful, and you feel like you're there in the movie. You've been taken into this universe, you know, because the music is so powerful and sensational. I love it. Like, the highlights is probably the opening credits music. I do love it. It's so timeless in my opinion. And I also as well love the music which plays when Superman takes Lois for a fly. And the music called Can You Read My Mind? I love that music. And yeah, it's so good. And another good quality we'll say, guys, is also the practical effects, because now sure, some visual effects don't hold up very well. For example, there's some shots where you can tell it's a green screen that, you know, Superman's flying in front of. But in my opinion, guys, the visual effects are, however, way better than how they are in Superman 4: Quest for Peace, which is, in my opinion, the worst standalone Superman movie of all time. But yeah, but these visual effects were way better. May not hold up to 2021 standards because it was 1978, but yeah. But then again, though, guys, when I rewatch it, guys, I rewatched the Blu-ray of the movie, of course, last night to prepare for this review. And in my opinion, it looks stunning because I watched it in, you know, HD. It was really stunning in my opinion, so yeah. But yeah, but it was easy to tell that some shots were green screen. But the practical effects, however, guys, do, in my opinion, hold up really well. So good. Like the explosion scenes, for example, and also the disaster scenes towards the end of the movie. They definitely do hold up really well, in my opinion. Like, because they used practical effects, it was so good. Like, they really did hold up very well, in my opinion. And another good thing about, you know, the extended version, guys, I do like the scene where it shows Superman is evading Lex's traps in his lair. Because on the theatrical version, they cut out those scenes, and he instead just breached into his lair straight away. So, yeah. So, I did like how in the extended version, they included, you know, the scenes where he's escaping from the traps, you know, like the ice and the fire. That was really good, in my opinion. And, yeah. And another highlight, in my opinion, guys, is also definitely the scene where Lois is unfortunately killed by, but getting buried in you know, in the ground during the earthquake with her car. And when Clark, you know, when Superman gets her out of the car and she's dead, in my opinion, guys, the bit where he screams in agony and jumps up into the sky flying and in screaming was absolutely perfect acting by Christopher Reeve, guys. You know, he really nailed it in this movie. And then the scene where he turns back time. Now, the scene where he does turn back time, guys, in my opinion, is a little bit confusing because the thing is, when he turns back time, the characters can still remember the disaster. You know, for example, Jimmy Olsen has been saved and from, you know, the Hoover Dam by turning back time, but he can still remember, you know, being rescued by Superman, even though it of course did not happen because, you know, Superman has of course turned back time. And Lois can also remember the disaster from before, even though it of course did not happen because Superman stopped it. So yeah. But yeah, this movie, however, guys, is still such a phenomenal movie. And, you know, one of the movies that started the superhero genre on the big screen. It really did so well. Like I said, guys, you know, the opening credits, in my opinion, are so timeless. In my opinion, they really are. So great. And rewatching the movie took me back to my childhood days, guys. It really did, because, you know, this was such a great movie to watch when I was a kid. And yeah, at first, guys, I found the first act quite boring when I was a little kid. But now that I'm older, guys, I actually do like it way more now, because I loved how it showed its development, in my opinion. I did love that. It was so great. So the only bad quality I will say, guys, is that I wish Zod Ursanon had more screen time, and also some visual effects don't hold up very well, in my opinion, but they are certainly better than Superman 4's visual effects, obviously, in my opinion. And also, as well, the turning back time scene is a bit confusing as well. But yeah, I like how in Rich Donner Cut Superman 2, well, the turning back time scene made a bit more sense, because the characters did not remember anything that happened, so yeah. I'm glad that happened, but yeah, it was quite confusing, in my opinion, because Lois and Jimmy Olsen still remembered. Speaking of Jimmy, guys, I did like Mark McClure as him. He's my favourite live-action Jimmy of all time. Like, in my opinion, he was also a perfect casting for a role. He was very entertaining, and yeah, and also great comic relief as well, in my opinion. He was very entertaining, and yeah, this was such a great movie, guys, you know, and, you know, definitely a timeless classic, in my opinion, even though some of the effects, in my opinion, don't hold up very well, like some of the visual effects, you know, like green screen, stuff like that. The practical effects, however, were brilliant, and it also has some great humour as well, guys, which in my opinion was executed far better than the humour in Superman 3, definitely. For example, the scene where Superman stops a criminal that's, you know, climbing up a building, got a jewel thief, and he says, "Hi there, someone wrong with the elevator?" That was such great entertainment to watch, guys, and yeah, Christopher Reeve, in my opinion, was perfectly cast as Superman. My favourite Superman actor of all time, and my favourite DC actor of all time, and all my favourite superhero actor ever. Like, he just really nailed the role. He really did. Absolutely loved his role, all in this. And yeah, and Lex Luthor also was made to be such a great villain in this movie. Gene Hackman was perfectly cast in the role, in my opinion. And yeah, very menacing as well, because he didn't show any sympathy for, you know, Tess Marker's mother, who lived in Hackensack in New Jersey with a missile was going to take, because he reprogrammed it. You know, that was really creative, guys, how he learned how to hack missiles, and yeah, with help from Otis and Eve. It was very good. And yeah, it was also really funny the way he kept yelling, you know, "Miss Taskmaster!" like that. That was actually really funny, guys, when he yelled out to call her. You know, that was really funny, in my opinion. And yeah, and another highlight, in my opinion, guys, is also the ending, because after Superman delivers Lex and Otis to prison, when they get arrested, you know, I also did love the ending where he says to a warden, you know, "Don't thank me, warden, we're part of the same team." Then he says goodnight, and then he flies into space, and yeah. And I love how the movie ends with him smiling at the camera. Like, I love that, guys. It's like, you know, he knows we're watching him, and he's happy that, you know, we are watching him, you know. I just love that so much. And yeah, whenever he smiles, guys, I smile back at him. Like, when we watched a movie, guys, last night, and, you know, he smiled at the camera, I smiled back at him. Because I did love that. But yeah, Richard Donner did such a great, phenomenal job directing this movie. And yeah. And in my opinion, he deserved to finish the sequel, but sadly he got fired. But yeah. But thankfully, the director's cut was released in 2006, which was, you know, way better than the theatrical version, in my opinion. This movie, however, was amazing nonetheless. So guys, if you're wondering why I give this movie out of 10, then, well, just like in my ranking video that I did last year, if I remember correctly, guys, let me just check how I ranked it, because I've got it written down. I rank this movie, guys, I rank it, right, where is my ranking? Here we are. I give this movie, guys, a 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, my only nitpick is, you know, some of the visual effects don't hold up, and also the turning back time scene, and also that I wish Zod Ursanon had more screen time. That's it though, guys, because this is still a great movie. So 9.5 out of 10 is how I'd rate it. 9.5 out of 10. Absolutely. So, guys, this is me reviewing Superman 1978, directed by Richard Donner. Rest in peace. So, no drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to leave in the comments what you guys thought of this review. And also, tell me what you think of Superman 1978. If you've seen it, let's see your thoughts on it. I mean, I know that Tara Magnus' favourite movie all time is this movie, and I can see why. I can see why it's Tara Magnus' favourite movie. Because it's a great movie. I do love it. So be sure to give this video a like, and yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of it. And yeah, if you'd like to be a member of my channel, you can press join. If you're using a PC or laptop, you can link in the description and join the team by subscribe. More videos coming in the future. And Up, up, and away.